Santa is coming, but so are the profits for this stock. KULR is one of the ones we'll be watching into next week and into 2025. I'm looking at this stock from a perspective of tremendous tech innovation in multiple industries with multiple partnerships that you probably want to know if you're potentially or already invested in the stock. So let's take a look at what the trend lines look like. We mapped out some levels support. We said, hey, it's most likely going to bounce here. This was yesterday, and it actually bounced today. Look at that. It shot up to 350, up 15% today. It's staying true to pattern. It's got two kind of directions it could go at this point. Right now, it established this new high, or it got rejected at the previous high, but it's right here. And at this level, this other high at around $3.20, it's holding right here at 320. So the extreme bull case in the near term, talking in the next few days, is that it actually validates this as its next support and it continues up and it really bulls up. And that would be tremendous because it's already up just since the beginning or around December, let's say 17th to today, 143%. Right? We're talking about a week, it's up 143%. Now there's reasons why, and this isn't speculative. This is actually based on some incredible tech, and it might have more room to run, and we're going to get into it here. But when we look at what is in store for the technicals, there is this trend that is very healthy. You can see it right here. Support, support, support. Okay. When we look at this, it looks like it potentially, if it does it, that was the first way, right? It uses that as support and it continues up. The second way, this is what could happen with this trend line I just drew, is that it does sell back down a little bit before continuing up. And that would be a little more on the healthy, not as extremely explosive growth that we've actually seen from it, but that would make a little bit more sense. Now that it's starting to get even more attention, it's starting to get a lot more volume and a lot more money coming in, it most likely will behave a little bit more of it will have more of a trend than just absolutely going straight up like we've seen in the past. And so if that's the case, we could see it sell back down, maybe this moving average down to from 328 is what it's at now. It'd go down to about 320 or about $3. And that's kind of the more pullback retest type of situation we could see happen. Now, let's get into the news here. Let's get into what this stock has. There's a couple things. I'm going to wait for a little bit of pullback before I get in. That's what I'm doing with the technicals. But I like it long term. You could probably buy right now and be okay. But let's just take a look at what some of the news is, because I know they had something going on with the DoD. And we know they have something going on with SpaceX, and we'll get into that. Oops. I accidentally spelled that wrong. But that's a good brand. Cool. I've used that before. Okay. So you can see here that if we look at the news, KULR stock, let's see what's on the top in the past 3 hours. Let's see, 12-month high, okay, 52-week high, tumbles, okay, nothing crazy, a lot of just, speculative. Hey, look, this is going crazy. Everybody's like, buy, buy, buy. Let's get down to business stock, DoD and KULR. And I spelled that wrong again. There we go. KULR. Okay. All right. So this is 2022, and then there's some updates in 2023. They secured initial deployment order from top-tier United States Department of Defense contractor. That was a partnership they had in 2023 that ran through 2023. $500K. Nothing crazy. Kind of smaller. And we'll get into the financial. They are a smaller company. I think there was more that was happening with the DoD, and maybe my search is not good, but let's see. The other one that we had is Navy and KULR. Now, all right, this is more recent. Just a month ago, we had KULR was awarded the U.S. Navy contract to develop high-temperature internal short-circuit cells for enhanced battery safety. So We know they're putting the batteries inside of the SpaceX, the Starlink satellites. We know that they work in thermal conductivity and carbon fiber tech. So this makes sense. Now, US Navy, this is talking about internal short circuit cells. So they work on the cell level for batteries. It's not like they're just putting batteries, they work down to the cell level. And you can see it says KULR, a provider of advanced thermal management solutions, has been awarded a contract by US Navy to advance its internal short circuit technology to activate at higher temperatures. This development, vital for both military and commercial applications, will support a wide range of safety critical uses with particular importance for aviation by enabling the simulation of extreme conditions that better reflect the stringent safety standards of the FAA. Which, are they that stringent? I don't know. There's some stuff going on with Boeing. It seems like they're not really cracking down, but hey, that's good. They have a partnership there with the European Union Aviation Safety Agency as well. So that's something to consider. You can see they have their devices, their ISC devices, originally developed in collaboration with NASA. So they work with NASA, they work with Lockheed Martin as well, and the National Renewable Energy Laboratory. They induce controlled thermal runaway in lithium ion cells. This is getting more advanced for some of you guys I know, and myself actually. Maybe you guys understand this. Offering a safer and more accurate testing than conventional methods of batteries. Okay, lithium ion cells. They go down to the cell level, and I feel like I need to run some of it through ChatGPT because it does get kind of advanced for talking about how how their battery tech works. But there's a Navy contract, and the reason why that's important is because it's not just the Navy, it's not just the Department of Defense. We can actually even look. If I recall, they're with Army as well. Yeah, so with U.S. Army, they got a contract just recently in 2024. That's a $2.4 million contract for one KULR One Guardian battery production. So this is a contract that includes the development of additional prototypes and comprehensive environmental qualification testing in accordance with the MIL STD 81OE standards. Okay. Again, could probably run some of the very technical stuff through ChatGPT. But why? What you need to know is that they have this tech that they're developing that, if you're talking about carbon fiber, it's extremely light. It's also extremely strong. And then you talk about batteries and efficiency. What's one of the biggest problems is overheating and also just a battery life, but the materials that go into making aerospace tech that is okay to withstand very insane temperatures. Like, those are things that obviously will play a bigger role, not just in military, but in space, as we'll get into. And on top of that, it's not just here. This is a company that's working in AI. This is a company that's working in robotics. I mean, we're talking about multiple things. So outside of that, there was one other contract. So they got Army, they got Navy, and they're providing the prototypes for. It's a battery contract with Army, right? But on top of that, we also got it's Para Zero. Okay. Para Zero. These are drones. So, drones. US Israeli firm to offer vibration reduction technology for military helicopters and drones. California firm KULR Technology has partnered with Israeli autonomy safety developer Para Zero to offer vibration reduction technology for military helicopters, unmanned aerial systems. So I don't know if you guys have seen some of the drone developments. I mean, there's a lot of stuff online that you probably have seen where there's these big drones that they're manned or unmanned. They're being used for transport. I mean, Amazon's using drones to deliver packages. You got drones being used to it's not even filming anymore so much. It's actually like you see in the military that drones are being used, and that's been around for a while. But we're talking about like some really advanced drones, like to a point where these aerial systems are getting ridiculously efficient. And so there's vibrations that happen in these airborne systems that produce negative energy that decreases the flight range and aerial efficiency. And it basically, the materials and what they're able to achieve, KULR has a it's called vibration reducing software that they can pair with ParaZero's Safe Air and Smart Air Trinity platforms to achieve increased drone performance, operational efficiency, and improve the safety. So think about it like you film with your iPhone on cinematic mode, and it like makes it look really nice at the end. And you're like, wow, that looks so smooth, even though I was like running and it was shaking all over the place. They have some tech that they're putting in drones that allows drones to be always smooth, and they don't have as much that it's stability. We're talking about stability, track and balancing technology built with AI algorithms to identify and locate vibrations of these airborne systems. So on top of drones, you got KULR. So these are some really interesting articles, but on top of drones, outside of ParaZero and actually outside of KULR, there's a stock that's called RCAT. And they recently partnered with Palantir, and they're a drone company too. And they just won U.S. Army contract. It's ticker symbol RCAT. That's one to look at as well. We'll go into that one. I got a lot of really great stuff. Make sure to subscribe down below. And also, if you want to watch me go over analysis every day at Market Open, that second link down below, you can watch StockMate. We just got wrapped up trading this morning at Market Open, had some profitable trades, and also we've been going since November. And right now, there's a great way to get and watch me trade live. It's that second link down below, and you get way more than just watching trade live. You also surround yourself with other investors and traders. But yeah, RCAT, we're going to be going into Red Cat Holdings for sure. Okay, so KULR. If we look at all the places that they're getting, I think there's something else. It's with SMR. Was it SMR? Is that right? SMR and KULR. Was that something that we saw? Was it KULR? So they're working, obviously. Okay, SMRs. Okay, so you got eVTOLs, you got robotics, you got data centers, space batteries that this company is working with, and then you got SMRs. I would like to dive even deeper into each individual one in a longer form video. Okay, but what we're gonna finish up here with is SpaceX, and then we'll go into really quick the financials and one last overview. So, but before we can even go into SpaceX, so they have carbon fiber, carbon composite that is going to that is thermodynamic, right? So that could play a big role not just in SpaceX, but also this could play a really big role over in Rocket Lab. And so you might want to look out, because Rocket Lab they're creating their own GPUs. Rocket Lab, they're creating their own tech. I have a friend that works at Rocket Lab, and he's a software engineer as well, and he seems to say that they're extremely innovative and things are going great there. And they're launching satellites up there, but they make carbon fiber or carbon composite rockets. And that's going to be a big deal, because that's strong material that is also very lightweight. And in the case of rockets, when you need that payload to be right, it makes sense. And also, it could make sense if the thermal side of things from this company is enabling it to really process that effectively. So outside of SpaceX KULR, we let's get into SpaceX KULR. So we get into here. They got, basically, guys, you should just know they're making the batteries for the Starlink satellites as well. SpaceX rideshare mission, or was it Starlink? Thought it was Starlink. Maybe it's not. But it was a NASA and SpaceX contract and agreement. And we'll see. Yeah, we'll see to what extent that is with SpaceX. Oh, okay. They're all right. So they're on. They signed a service agreement to launch KULR One space batteries um, via the launch integrator ExoLaunch on SpaceX rideshare mission scheduled for 2026. So basically, that's a pivotal thing for KULR's ongoing commitment to developing that safer and higher performing battery systems tailored to space applications. Um, and you can see that space battery market, it's expected to grow from 3.9 billion to 6.3 billion by 2030. That's a really, I think, conservative estimate, but we'll see. That's pretty cool. So you can look at all those things. A lot of things happening with KULR stock. Let's take a look. The news looks really promising. Let's take a look at their financials. So when we look at their financials, I wanted it to pull up everything for us. Let's see if we get, there we go. Okay. Year over year, they're up 4% in revenue. Net income up 63%. Their net income was down to negative 2 million on the year or on the quarter, which is okay. It's all right. Net profit margin is 62% negative, but it's up 65% year over year. Operating income's up 66% year over year. Net cash up 31% year over year. They beat their earnings per share by 50% and their revenue by 32% in September. And they're starting to really gain momentum. So KULR Technology Group, you see that their financials are looking fairly good, better than most space company and AI companies for sure. But on top of that, you could also see they had really great news. And when we look at the chart, hey, looks like long term, if you're in it for the long haul, don't worry. If you are holding from down here or you're just thinking of getting in, I would hold. Now would be a time you want to add to your business, or now would be a time you would want to wait a little bit to add to your position if you were trying to play the more near term trade on KULR. Now, longer term looks bullish. The shorter term could be a little bit bearish. You see that just looking the RSI and MACD where they crossed over, they're up 16% today. So you could see it sell off potentially some more, maybe even down to that moving average as we've seen in the past, as it tends to do that. But again, it would be a stretch to say it holds above this 325. Most likely we'll see it drop a little bit, maybe down to $3 before continuing up, or even down to 280. But overall looks really good. I like the stock. The tech looks great, and keep you guys updated on the stock. Thank you guys so much for watching. If I earned your thumbs up, hit that like button. Do consider subscribing. And again, that second link down below if you want to watch trade live on Market Open on Thursday. And have a very Merry Christmas. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.